Today, we're going to be talking about a question I get all the time, which is, do you use AutoTune? I actually don't use it, and let me tell you why. While AutoTune does have its signature sound, I find that the interface is a little bit clunky, and the fact that graphical mode, which allows you to go in and adjust all the nuances of every note, only exists in the Pro version, which costs $400, that was a huge issue for me. The cheaper versions do have the automatic tuning modes, which is very useful. However, kind of a pain if you're working with a vocalist that doesn't sing very well and you need a lot more control over the vocals. So my go-to is actually Waves Tune. If you are patient, you can pick this up for $30, less than $30, and it has almost the exact same feature set as the Pro version of AutoTune. And today we're going to jump into a track by an artist called Adept, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do and how to set up Waves Tune to mimic the style of AutoTune for modern pop and hip-hop songs. So let's jump in. Okay, so here is the session. This is, again, by an artist called Adept, and I'm just going to play the chorus for you, and then we'll get into pitching the lead vocals on the chorus. So all we have to do to get a AutoTune sound is to first just load the plugin. So again, this is not the light version, this is the full version. Full version allows us access to the vibrato controls, which I think really helps with the transparency of the vocal correction. Okay, so we're just going to turn this on. I asked the producer what key the song is written in. It happens to be F sharp minor. If you don't know what key your song is, that's totally fine. What I would recommend doing is setting this up for chromatic scale. That is going to just give you every single note that's possible, and then you can go through and hand tune it and figure out what sounds the best for you. Another option, if you don't know the key of the song, is to use Antares AutoTune, which will listen to the audio and give you an idea of what the key is. Or there's a much cheaper version by a company called Hornet, and they make a plugin called Song Key. And I have the old version, but the newer one is pretty awesome. But all you do is throw this on your 2-bus or the last channel where everything leaves, and it just listens to the audio and it'll tell you what the key is. So you can then just take this information, put it right into your Waves Tune or AutoTune or whatever pitch correction software you're using, and you'll get the key. Waves Tune doesn't tune vocals immediately. It doesn't do it in real time like AutoTune would do it. You have to acquire the data by just playing the song, and it'll assign all the different notes for the melody. So that's what we're looking at right here. What we're going to want to make sure we do is, first of all, make sure you put in the right key. So I know that this key is F sharp minor, so natural minor. So that is going to put these little do not use note blocker things in so that it's going to sound a lot more musical and be harmonic with the actual melody or the beat. If you don't do that, it can do all sorts of weird stuff where you get a lot of clashing notes. You want to make sure that the range is set appropriately for the singer. So if you have someone singing very low notes, you might want to choose bass or baritone. That's just going to make the pitch detection a lot cleaner and a lot smoother. If you have female vocals or something, you might be alto or higher, like a soprano. And again, it's not going to even look at any of these notes down here. It's only going to look at the really high frequency ones. Okay? So make sure you set that right. Basically, you just want to have the grayed out version outside of the range of your notes. So this is sitting right in the right range. Now that we have that set up, you're going to select all, and we're going to crank the speed all the way down to about 2. For like the modern pop sound, it's not super robotic, okay? It has very clear note articulation, but it doesn't sound like a robot. So we're going to do some tricks to make it perfect. Okay, so put the speed around 2 or 3 or something like that, right around here. Then we're going to take our note transition and bring it to about 40 or 50. Okay, so right now this is going to sound pretty robotic. Let me just play what we have, and I'll solo this.
Wake up, get on first thing in the morning. Put you in my cup, rolling up to the...
Okay, it's kind of robotic, but what we're going to do is hide that a little bit by adding in a synthetic vibrato. Okay, so over here, you can, while this is all selected, we just turn the synth on under the vibrato, and we're going to crank up the depth, and you can see See how all these little sine waves are added? Okay, we're just going to find something depending on how loud we want it. So I find that typically about 30, like 25 to 30 has a good amount in there so you can hear it, but it's not too distracting, okay? Then we're going to, depending on the style, you can adjust if you want a really fast vibrato, which I tend to hear a lot in pop music and hip hop. It's usually like a rate of 7.5 to maybe 8.5, somewhere in there. So we could set it to 8 just to be safe right now. And then the secret here is the pre-delay and attack. The pre-delay is gonna let the note hit and be very articulated on what the defined note is, and then it's gonna let the vibrato happen. Okay, so this is nice for defining the note and then having a vibrato kind of fade in later. And then the attack is adding a volume fade on the vibrato. Okay, so pre-delay is time before the vibrato starts, and the attack is the fade, how long we want to fade into a full vibrato. Perfect. Okay, so what I find is that depending on your phrasing, if you have kind of short phrases like this, something like maybe 100, 75 to 125 milliseconds in your pre-delay gives a nice note articulation, and then we want the attack to slowly fade into that vibrato, maybe over 100 milliseconds or so. Okay, so actually let's bring the pre-delay down because these notes are jumping up and down so much, but we want to hear a little bit of vibrato to smooth this out. Okay, so let's see what that sounds like. Let me zoom out. We'll play it now.
Wake up, get on first thing in the morning.
And then, so this is the beauty of having the graphical interface, is that we know this note is not right. So we can just bump this up, and then you can just glue it to the other notes, and now it'll be perfect. Whereas if you don't have graphical mode from AutoTune, you can't do this.
Wake up, get on first thing in the morning. Put you in my cup, rolling up till the evening. Then we get on, yeah.
So you can hear, like on this word on, you hear how the vibrato comes in, starts wiggling.
Get on, yeah, I'm in the zone.
And then if there's certain spots where it's maybe, if it sounds a little too robotic, we can just select these notes and just push the note transition up a little bit, and it smooths that out for us. And that's it. That's how you do it. So if this video helped you out, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more awesome videos like this coming out in the future. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I will literally go through every single one and help answer questions. And if you're a Twitch person, I also happen to have a Twitch channel where I live stream every Thursday. I'll do some sort of live in the studio mixing. Make sure you check that out. There's a link to my Twitch channel in the description. So go there, hit that follow button, and you'll be notified when I go live, and then you can interact with me directly. It's pretty awesome. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
The best, the beat and the feet, the feeling. My confidence is straight to the ceiling, so you can say that.
He said he couldn't take the call.